What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus package update, daily news, pretty much everything you need to know about what's going on here in our country, in Washington, D.C., money, investing, the stock market, everything you need to know about on a daily basis. Remember, the new videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new videos. It's completely free to do so. And if you find these videos helpful, don't forget to hit the like button for us down below. We got a lot to cover, so let's jump right in. Remember the QAnon shaman named Jacob Chansley, as you can see here in this video? Well, he was just sentenced to 41 months in prison. Yeah, over 3 years in prison he was just sentenced to in prison. 41 months for his role in the January 6th attack on the Capitol. 41 months. Yeah. In fact, here's what he had to say in court for his role that he played on January 6th. Chansley, who was almost unrecognizable in court, addressed the court in a plain jail-issued dark green jumpsuit, said he was, quote, a good man who broke the law, and implored Judge Lamberth to judge a tree by its roots in considering his sentence. He says, quote, I am in no way, shape, or form a violent criminal. I'm not an insurrectionist. I am certainly not a domestic terrorist, he said. I hope you see my heart. He says, I was wrong for entering the Capitol. I have no excuse whatsoever. In retrospect, I do everything differently on January 6th. I would try with all my heart and soul to stop people. I think the hardest part about this is that I know that I am to blame. He says, quote, I hope that you see my remorse is genuine. He said this right before he was sentenced to 41 months in prison. He spoke confidently as he addressed the court, making direct eye contact with Judge Lamberth as he referenced the Bible and recited quotes from the writer Max Dupree and Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas to argue that he is not the same person who stormed the Capitol. He says, I want to grow beyond what it is that I was. The judge said in response to his remarks, the most remarkable I've heard in my 34 years, akin to the type of things Martin Luther King might have said, right after he sentenced him to 41 months in prison. It also matches the longest sentence handed down to any participant from that day, following another 41-month sentence handed down last week to Scott Fairlamb, a former mixed martial arts fighter who pleaded guilty to assaulting a police officer during the riot. The judge also said, what you did here was horrific. It is the type of conduct that is so serious that I cannot justify downward departure from sentencing recommendations. To Chansley, who wasn't accused of assaulting law enforcement or destroying property, he did plead guilty on September 3rd to one felony count of unlawfully obstructing an official proceeding. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. He kind of is like the face of what happened on that day. Of course, when you just see his picture, you kind of know exactly who he is and what happened on that day. Do you think what he got is fair? Do you think he should have got more? Do you think he should have got less compared to other people who actually kind of assaulted officers or anybody on that day? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. OSHA has suspended enforcement of the COVID vaccine mandates for businesses. Yeah, check this out. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, also known as OSHA, is suspending enforcement of the Biden administration's COVID vaccine mandates for large private businesses after a federal appeals court has upheld a stay or a pause on it last week. OSHA said in a statement published on its website Friday night that while it is confident in its power to protect workers amid the pandemic, it is suspending activities related to the mandate, citing the pending litigation. Quote, the court ordered that OSHA take no steps to implement or enforce the ETS emergency temporary standard until further court order, which is likely going to go to the Supreme Court. While OSHA remains confident in its authority to protect workers in emergencies, OSHA has suspended activities related to the implementation and the enforcement of the ETS pending further developments in litigation. President Biden announced in September that the administration was rolling out a new rule that would require all private employers with 100 or more employees to mandate vaccines or weekly testing for all personnel, a guideline that has the potential to impact nearly 80 million workers. Earlier this month, the administration set January 4th as the deadline for qualifying private employers to start mandating the vaccine or requiring weekly testing. The rule was developed by OSHA. In a 22-page ruling last week, the Fifth U.S. Court Circuit of Appeals wrote that the administration's COVID vaccine and testing mandate was, quote, fatally flawed, and ordered that OSHA not enforce the requirement pending adequate judicial review of a motion for a permanent injunction. The court said that OSHA should, quote, take no steps to implement or enforce the mandate until further court order. This is likely going to go to the Supreme Court here in the near future, which probably will be the final decision. In the past, the Supreme Court has upheld both vaccine mandates decisions on both the vaccine mandates for this, for COVID, and previous vaccine mandates in the past for other type of vaccines. So it will be interesting to see what happens. This is the first type of vaccine mandate here recently that has been paused. So that has now kind of set a first. So it will be interesting to see what will happen. I will keep you updated here on our daily show what will happen. So stay tuned. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Next up is the stimulus package, which is really down to the wire here. Here is a quick update.
The president's moving on to his next big congressional fight, his social spending and climate package. The price tag on that one, $1.75 trillion. The House Majority Leader, Steny Hoyer, said today Democrats in his chamber are on track to pass the Build Back Better plan by the end of the week. He said a vote could come on Thursday at the earliest. The plan includes universal pre-K, a one-year extension of the child tax credit, child care assistance, and expanded Medicare and Medicaid. If it passes the House, it heads to the Senate. The Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, says Democrats there aim to pass the bill before Christmas. He's billing that plan as a way to fight inflation.
There's no denying that as our recovery continues, we must work to address supply chain troubles that have exacerbated inflation in recent months. Build Back Better is exactly what the doctor ordered.
But the Democratic Senator Joe Manchin says he's not so sure that Build Back Better plan is the cure for inflation, an issue he calls very important to his voters.
They're very much concerned. Inflation has hit them extremely hard. They say, are you as mad as I am? And I said, absolutely.
Senator Manchin says an upcoming budget estimate on the bill could affect his vote. The Congressional Budget Office plans to release those numbers on Friday.
Speaking of Senator Joe Manchin, this article here today, Senator Joe Manchin says he's okay with voting yes on the stimulus package, the Biden spending package this year. Pretty good news, actually. Senator Joe Manchin, a Democrat from West Virginia, signaled on Wednesday that he's okay with a plan to vote on President Biden's $1.75 trillion social and climate spending bill by the end of the year, a day after warning that he had concerns with the Christmas timeline. My wife says from the other room, he don't even know what he wants, which kind of makes us think that, and we've said here before, that he kind of got the nickname Two-Face Joe because literally you'll hear this contradicting things one day after another. Yeah, I'm willing to vote for it. No, I'm not willing to vote for it. And it kind of makes you wonder what Joe Manchin is going to show up on the day of voting. You really just sometimes I even wonder, because sometimes I'll be here reporting to you news that Joe Manchin says he's willing to vote for it. The next day it'll be Joe Manchin's concerned about inflation and he's not willing to vote for it. Here with today's episode of Can't Make This Stuff Up. Joe Manchin says, quote, "I'm not in charge of timing. Whatever they want to do is fine with me," Manchin told reporters, and asked if he was comfortable bringing up the spending bill this year. Whatever they want to do is fine with me. Okay. Pressed if he was okay with bringing it up this year, he asked, whatever they want to do is fine. If we're going to vote, vote. Oh, okay. All right, let's do it. Manchin's comments comes as he's repeatedly warned Democrats against rushing the bill, not that it's been rushed by any means, which has been repeatedly delayed in the House, and pieces of which are still being negotiated by Democrats in the Senate. Asked about the timeline to pass by the end of the year, Manchin told reporters that he has a lot of concerns. Manchin notably didn't say on Wednesday if he supported the spending bill. Pretty key there. Senate Finance Committee Chairman Ron Wyden, a Democrat from Oregon, and Senate Environment and Public Works Committee Chairman Tom Carper, a Democrat from Delaware, have said they are continuing talks with Manchin over tax and climate provisions, respectively. Manchin has also raised concerns about the inclusion of the paid family and medical leave plan and a nicotine tax. So that is also concerns that are still being negotiated. House Democrats are aiming to pass a bill, or pass the bill, this week, and Senate Democrats want to vote on it by the end of the year. Congress is facing a packed end-of-year calendar, including a funding the government bill, which has to happen before December 3rd, a December 15th deadline on the debt ceiling. So apparently, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says that initially the date on the debt ceiling may now be a few days later, around December 15th. But again, these are all estimated dates on the debt limit. So keep that in mind. And a massive defense bill that eats up floor time called the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act. Remember, the debt ceiling is an estimated date, and as we get closer, we will get a more firmed up date. So it's anywhere from December 3rd to December 15th, which is only 12 days in there. We really can't even get that close. Once you start to get down to within the last few days of it, you'll really start to play with fire there. I mean, you're starting to play with people's lives, people's livelihoods, people's 401ks, people's pensions, people's stock holdings. They say that over 50% of Americans own stock, okay? Whether it's through literally just stock holdings, they own stock, or they own 401ks or pensions, and all that gets very, very shaky once you get close to the debt limit. Because remember, if the country hits the debt limit, they call it the X date. Not only is the stock market in really, really bad trouble, the President Biden, Bernie Sanders, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, have all said that Social Security payments might not go out. Okay. Also, the child tax credit payments might not go out. That's on December 15th, because the Treasury would literally run out of money. Okay. Now, there's some question on whether Social Security would be affected because that's in a separate fund, but we've literally had the president on the show here. If you've been watching the show every day, we've had footage where President Biden has said the Social Security payments could be delayed if the U.S. Treasury literally runs out of money. So I know it's a separate fund, but you got to think, if the government defaults, you could see how that's all kind of intertwined, right? And the credit rating of the government would literally uh, be affected. It's a whole exacerbated problem, right? It's just nothing there is really good at all. We just don't we can't have it happen. I mean, we think about how bad a government shutdown is, and then like millions of people. I think it's like 2.2 million people lose their jobs temporarily, and literally everything from the government needs to shut down that is not um, essential services. And we had that in 2018, 2019, and we've had some extended stays there, and that gets pretty bad. But we can't have a government default. It's essentially the government going into bankruptcy. Imagine the United States government going into bankruptcy. It's just like you being speechless, right? I really think that they need to get rid of the debt limit because we can't have the United States government full faith and think about that full faith and credit of the United States government, and then we go bankrupt, we default. Like we can't have that happen. We're supposed to be the United States. Like, I mean, we're issuing treasury bonds and interest, and it's just like when you think about treasury bonds, they're supposed to be the quote safest investment you can have, and that's why they only pay like a couple percent interest and stuff. Sometimes they pay near 0% interest, depending on how the market, depending on what it is. And at one point, they paid almost 0% interest, or even close to negative percent interest, depending on the year and the time frame, because they're supposed to be the safest investment ever. They have the full faith and credit of the United States government. And to think that the government could literally default just simply because we can't get the Republicans and Democrats to agree and pass a bill, sign a paper, and then to think about that, 70 million, 65 million Social Security payments might not go out, and then to think about that the stimulus package might not get signed, and then think about 65 million children child tax credits might not go out, that 47% of a recent survey or a recent report says that they use that for food, and then I'm sure another large percent of it uses it for food or for shelter and for rent. I mean, like literally people's lives depend on this. Like, I mean, we can't have Social Security payments and child tax credit payments going out. People's lives literally depend on those. Like, we can't have the government default. It's just like so much is riding on this next package because the debt limit's in there, the child tax credit payments are in there, rent assistance is in there, lowering the cost of childcare is in there, lowering the cost of prescription drug pricing is in there. There's just so many things here. This whole debt limit situation is just an absolute nightmare. And to think that they finally got an agreement, and Chuck Schumer, he really just, I wish I was a Senate Majority Leader, because I would have just went over there and I would say, well, thank God we finally got 11 Republicans to help us pass this. Thanks to the 11, the other 39 didn't help us, but at least we got 11 to come over, and we got the job done temporarily. We got to do it again here in a few weeks, which is almost here now. But we got a worst case scenario. We can't let the country default. Worst case scenario, we can't let the country default. Like, if anything, that's the one thing we can't have happen. It's literally worst case scenario. Here, today's episode of We Can't Make This Stuff Up. And here we are yet again. So, hey, at least Joe Manchin's saying today, what does that headline say again? That Joe Manchin signals he's okay with the Biden spending vote this year. Remember, we also have him saying that he's okay with 1.75 trillion. So he's okay with voting it this year. I mean, there's only 1 month left this year. He's also okay with $1.75 trillion. So, and hey, it sounds like we're okay to go. Okay to go. So, yeah, I mean, all we need to do now is get it passed in the House and the Senate. So, I'll keep you up to date here. Also, we're going to be doing that $1,000 contest giveaway. We're going to be giving up to $1,000 or $1,000 in total to $100 to 10 people for $1,000 total. We're gonna have a box where we're gonna give away 10 clues, and if you can guess what's in the box, we're gonna be giving away $100 to 10 people in total. And if you can guess what's in the box, you'll be entered into the pool of people that have guessed correctly. If you guess correctly, then you're in the pool of people, and then we're going to have a software that will randomly pick 10 people. And again, if you guess correctly, then you're in the pool of people that have guessed correctly, and then from there, 10 people will be randomly picked to be and to win. And then we're gonna do another contest in December as well. So yeah, definitely stay tuned. The contest is gonna start here soon in the next couple days or so. So I got to do the we're picking the prize, or I'm sorry, we're picking the item for the What's in the Box contest, and it's going to start here very, very soon. So don't miss any videos at this point. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't yet. It's free to do so. Just literally click subscribe and then click the bell icon to all notifications so you don't miss out on new videos. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll see you guys soon. So you can click here to watch my newest stimulus video next. And this video is about Social Security raises. There's 2 new bill proposals to raise Social Security benefits by several $100s per month. That's in addition to the 5.9% COLA raise. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.